Good afternoon everyone, Asaker with you, and today in Mobile Hero Wars I'm going to show you the new hero Octavia on max power. Watch this video to the end to enter the giveaway. Subscribe to my channel, you'll find a lot of unique information here that you didn't already know about. The new hero Octavia, being support, has joined the ranks of the Way of Eternity. We finally got to wait for a hero for undead, as their faction was limited to the fewest number of characters of any path. A few months ago, I posted a video with tier list in which I talked about the relevance of all heroes taking into account the latest innovations. I will update this table very soon to take into account the new hero. But now let's talk about her. Octavia's main characteristic is agility, and she is located behind all the heroes in our game, behind Martha, which is explained by her abilities, but more about them later. At max level, she has a little over 246,000 health, which is pretty optimal for a hero, with a basic agility characteristic with no skins. Octavia's base attack speed is also impressive. She attacks faster than most heroes, being next to Cornelius on this stat, and ahead of most tanks, mages, and so on. This is a very good nuance because this hero has two active abilities in addition to that. Octavia also has the first artifact with the effect of dispensing a dodge. This is the first character with this effect introduced in the entire existence of artifacts for heroes. That is, besides Heidi, Aurora, and Dante, we have not had any heroes with dodge effect introduced in the game in the 5 years of artifact existence. Considering this factor, it is important to note here that this effect is chosen by the developers for a reason and has a special ground in the form of abilities, the mechanics of which we will now analyze. Their game description you can see on the screen, but it doesn't reveal enough about Octavia's actual capabilities. They are full of nuances and exceptions. The first skill summons a large mirror behind the backs of allies. As long as it exists, damage is returned to the enemy, but no more than 126,865 each time an ally is dodged. The ability formula comes from Octavia's health, and therefore Aiden and Zesha can increase her damage ceiling from this skill. Damage to the enemy is returned in the amount of 100% of the damage inflicted by him. It is physical and cannot be reduced by the armor indicator. This ability combines amazingly well with Octavia's first artifact because dodges are distributed to the whole team and the opponent's damage will definitely be returned, and it will happen quickly, which is also an advantage against weak heroes. Octavia's second skill allows her to cast a positive effect that temporarily increases dodge of the furthest forward ally she started the fight with. Heroes of Eternity receive a nearly threefold bonus. If a character doesn't have dodge indicator, Octavia still gives out this parameter, and it turns out that any hero can be affected by this effect, including Corvus, whom she makes noticeably denser, especially when you consider that the cooldown of this skill is only 9 seconds with a duration of 6 seconds. It also has a first cooldown of 1 second, allowing Octavia to reinforce the first hero in her team from the very beginning of the fight. This ability also has a passive effect. All of Octavia's allies are also affected by magic damage. Thus, dodge will trigger basic magic attacks that some heroes in our game have, such as Celeste, Satori, Morrigan, and Zesha. In addition, Octavia and her allies will also be able to dodge magic damage from abilities such as Satori's Foxes. This is a very interesting new mechanics of our game, immediately synergize with Dante because he with his second skill gives a bonus dodge to the whole team at once. And that's not all. Octavia's third skill is a terrific complement to the second. With it, she temporarily casts an effect on all allies that increases their armor penetration. This effect is also applied to an ally each time they dodge damage. Octavia allows any physic hero on your team to get extra armor penetration just by dodging, which is at least her second skill. and at most her ultimate, but her fourth passive skill called Imperial Guard is perhaps the most interesting and confusing skill in our game. What's the big deal? Because of this skill, Octavia cannot be the target of skills and attacks as long as the allies who started the fight with her are alive. When an ally dodges damage, he and Octavia gain extra energy. First, let's deal with the extra energy. The mechanics of getting it are pretty simple. If an Octavia ally or herself dodges an attack or ability, that character receives 5% energy for each dodge. The energy gained is bonus energy, meaning that Satori imposes extra tags for such dodge, and therefore Fox is one of Octavia's counter-heroes. Yes, without Satori's magic armor penetration, Octavia's entire team can survive by dodging part of the tags, and the rest of the tags will be absorbed by the allies anyway, while Octavia herself will endlessly dodge due to the fact that she will first dodge a certain number of foxes, and then due to the number of active effects from the first artifact she will start dodging always until she runs out of tags. Things change if you have magic penetrators on the team with Satori. Now let's break down the subtlety of the invulnerability mechanic that makes Octavia unable to target skills and attacks. Literally what it says here is that she can't take damage from point attacks on her. For example, Ju will throw boomerangs not at her, but at your penultimate hero on the team. Georgian's transfer will not work, however Artemis' smart arrow can still hit her. What about mass damage skills? Octavia can take damage from them, such as Ginger and Judge's ultimates, but what's extremely interesting is that Amira doesn't put gold on her. Also, the most interesting aspect of this ability is that the allied Fafnir cannot put a shield and sword effect on Octavia, even though she is a hero with the basic agility characteristic. It works like this. If Octavia is the only agility hero on the team, with Fafnir, he will forge his effects into the air, and if he have ultimate, he'll only give all heroes except Octavia a sword effect that increases damage without a shield as such, since no one on the team has a shield. And if the team with Fafnir and Octavia has one more hero with the main characteristic agility, we will have a 50% chance that our other agility hero will never get the effect of Fafnir's shield, even after Octavia's death. Something tells me that it shouldn't work that way, but we'll keep an eye on developments. And if something changes in the future, I'll release a separate video with fixed mechanics of Octavia's skill, and we'll see how the character was transformed after that. Nevertheless, what to do with the new hero now? Is it worth leveling her, and who will benefit from her in the first place? As we already know, Octavia has synergy with some of the heroes from Eternity, especially Dante. While previously his dodges only contributed randomly and were used solely in defense, now those randoms are becoming dangerous and pacey due to the extra energy. I believe that the topic of dodges will continue to unfold, but right now it is only in its early stages, and I will say this briefly about it. Octavia will be needed for two groups of players. The first group are those people who already have the Eternity Path leveled, especially Dante. The new character will really breathe new life for you with undead heroes, and you'll be able to punch through what you previously couldn't. But don't be too quick to rejoice. This character doesn't transform the faction like Julius did with the Engineers, but only logically complements the gaps that Path of Eternity had before. You'll still have big problems with Fafnir-based teams and Path of Progress, with Octavia having little ability to turn the tide of battles against them. But with weaker teams from the rest of the factions, it does perform really well. The second group of players who need a new hero are those people who already have quite a few well-leveled meta heroes and are in search of a challenging defense for Grand Arena or guild championships. Of course, Octavia can help in that regard, and she's not necessarily only good on teams with undead. For example, she plays well with Aurora, Heidi, Aiden, and Kayla. On your screens are a few examples of these defenses. At first glance, my final verdict is that Octavia is a specific and interesting character That is ahead of her time so far, but she's really very good on defense. We'll see how things develop further with talismans, and maybe Path of Eternity will equal the power of engineers at some point, I hope. Meanwhile, for the 5 of you, I'll help you get more resources. Participate in the giveaway right now, the point of which is to simply leave a comment below this video with your in-game account ID. The main requirement for participation is also to subscribe to my channel and like this video, so subscribe. The more you are waiting for a large number of unique videos, the winner will be chosen randomly. The results will be announced in comments very soon. I will reply to the winners in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you soon.